Name of first mentor.
Bob White was my first mentor. He taught me so many wonderful things about magic and the Vernon Charlie Miller style. He comes from that school. And then through Bob, I was introduced to so many wonderful people, Steve Freeman and Norman Beck, Chuck Smith, Presley guitar, and Johnny Thompson, right? He was my foot in many a door in magic and in getting to meet people. And he taught me how to tie a tie. He was my real mentor. He's like my grandfather, right? Like my dad, Bob White. There's never going to be another like him, or Johnny, or these guys, because they come from a different world. So I got very lucky that when I waltzed into the magic store that he existed. And for the first couple of years, he wouldn't even talk to me. And that was very good too. He was already teaching me lessons before he was teaching me, because he made me realize that you can't really ask for someone to teach you.
Yep. They
have to notice that you're capable and what's the right word? Capable and earnest, right?
Absolutely.
And then they might show you something. So I learned a lot through that. His being my mentor was more educational than how to do tilt or the double lift or anything like that.
Most watched childhood magic special or routine?
Most, like, from my childhood?
Yeah.
Oy, that's tough to say. Let's see. Some that come to mind that really blew me away. Of course, David Copperfield is amazing. A particularly early 90s Copperfield, because he was so handsome and so, not that he wasn't before, but just, boy, did he hit his stride in style. Just his style, everything about it, with all the Peter Gabriel music and everything. He was a man after my own heart then. I really love that. I saw him live too. I saw him fly. Astonishing, just marvelous. But I think the world's greatest magic, the very first one, that Gary Ulay production, totally. Boy, does the magic world owe him a lot.
Totally.
And they don't know it, because I saw Bill Malone and David Williamson. And I mean, just everybody. I mean, look at that. Go back and watch that first World's Greatest Magic. The first two.
Right.
Particularly, all of them are pretty good. But Lordy, those first two are amazing.
Showcase magic. Yeah, absolutely. Top shelf.
Yeah, it's weird. The David Blaine totally changed the game.
Right.
And I think he's one of the great genius. He's a genius in my estimation.
Totally.
But those weird point the camera at the magician old style specials, for a magic nerd, those were, did they attract as many people as Blaine's formula? I doubt it. I don't think but no, I take that back. They were big primetime specials around Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in the United States.
Weekends,
They were huge, right? Channel 5 was testing the toys, Tonight at 10. I even remember the commercials from those things. So they were great. Boy, am I glad,
Strangest place you've been asked to perform magic?
Ooh, too many. I can't say that one. Maybe I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Strangest place. I'll tell you one that was kind of strange and beautiful, very beautiful. My wife and son and I, particularly when my son wasn't in school yet, we toured the country, Europe, Asia, all over. That kid's been all over the world. And we were on the West Coast. We love camping. I mean, we're hillbillies, we love all that stuff.
Love it.
And we have our fishing rods and all that. So we were camping here and there. We go to gigs and stay in the hotels, but in between we go to these wonderful camping grounds and national parks and so on, and camp in there. So on one level, we were kind of like transients, and on the other, one day we'd be in a tent, and the next day we'd be in this beautiful hotel. So it was a weird juxtaposition. But we found ourselves in this wonderful, I forget what you call it. I should know what it is, but essentially it's a camping ground, right? A giant property owned by one person. And you know what the state of Jefferson is? It's like a state near Oregon and California where they want to secede or something, or form their own state. I don't know all the politics of it, but it's an interesting group of people that live around there. And we were at one of these campgrounds, just hundreds of people not hundreds, dozens of people camping on this campground, not a small one where you pull up on the side of a lone highway with, no speed limit signs anywhere. This was a giant complex, but it was not fancy. It was just someone owned a lot of acreage. And we roll into, and they say, how much to camp here? And they said, oh, it's this, that, and the other. And Elena, just God bless her, she just said, we're traveling magic show, and they said, ooh, will you do a magic show at our fish fry there? Do you think you don't have to pay? And I said, all right. And so I'm out in the heat of this salmon fry. I don't know what, it was so bizarre. And just people all, in their camping gear and everything. And there I am, in my magic outfit, which is, you're looking at it. This is my costume.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the reading the minds with the crystal ball. And I set the crystal ball. I had a Mexican blanket on a table, and it set the Mexican blanket on fire. The crystal ball, the sun concentrated the energy, just smoke was going everywhere. And I walked up and pretended that the smoke was going. I pick up the ball and I looked down, I'm like, my Lord, I almost set this whole deck on fire. So that was a weird one, but definitely not as weird as the one that I can't say on the air. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, more strategy wise, how do you record your ideas?
I'm very bad at it. I just dream about them as long as possible and hope they stay there. I'll tell you how I do it. Actually, I tell my friends, I tell Derek Chung, I tell Paul Vigil, I tell John Wilson, I tell Alp in the car. I would tell Bob, I would tell Johnny Thompson, these wonderful people have passed on to the other side, so to speak. But I tell them, and they remind me, they're like, don't you have that thing when you do this thing? And I go, oh, right, I forgot about that, So I'm very bad. I have amazing notebooks that as a younger person I took, and man, I was very diligent. I'm bad at it now. Yeah. So I record it by riffing with my pals.
That's great.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
I was jamming with Carissa Hendricks just a few days ago, or last week sometime. And she reminded me of a gag that I was doing, so without them, I wouldn't remember.
That's great.
I don't recommend it, but that's what I do.
That's great. It also might provide little ideas, feedback as well. So that's a great way to build a routine. Well, okay, let's finish on this. Finish this sentence. Pineapple on pizza is
delicious.
There it is. Thank you so much, Jared, for your time today.